AAO network is set up and designed to help black colleagues within my organization. I co-chair that with a wonderful lady, and our purpose is to provide a space where black people can be seen, heard, appreciated, and given a voice. And one of the things that we want to do is to empower, right? A lot of the times, black colleagues or colleagues from minority ethnic backgrounds can feel unheard. They're working so hard, but not being acknowledged or recognized for the brilliance that they do, right? And the Bold Network is all about amplifying those wonderful individuals to say, hey, here is somebody that has delivered so much. We need to recognize them and not just give them a round of applause, but put them in a position where they can apply for senior positions.
Right.
And that's my key, is getting people from A to B, whether it be on a development journey or on a career journey, to say you started off here in the call center, i.e. me, and now you're a director in your own space.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Against All Odds. And for those of you who watched last week, we're privileged to have as a guest on this program my friend, my buddy, Mr. Mahari Hay.
Touch me.
Jamaican-born investment banker in the city of London. Or corporate banker, I don't know, investment banker, corporate banker.
Corporate and institutional banking.
Corporate or CIB, okay.
Yeah, that's one.
So senior corporate institutional banker in the city of London. And last week he shared with us some amazing insights on the influences that sort of have shaped him to be the person that he is today. So Mahari, welcome once again.
Thank you.
To our podcast.
Yeah, like I said, it's always fantastic to be surrounded by excellence, and that is you. And thank you for allowing me just to kind of share some things about me that I hope will touch one person that's watched this fantastic podcast. So I appreciate you allowing me to be here.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So picking up from last week's episode, I've noticed that this year actually in particular, you've won so many awards. Okay, and
you got to be in it to win it.
And I've just kind of watched you. I mean, every week you're winning one award or the other, and I think that it's proof of the impact that you are having in the wider community. Okay, and one of the initiatives that I know that you are very, it's very close to your heart, is the Bold Network. Okay, and I'll leave you to explain what the Bold Network is to our audiences. But I personally believe that the fact that you're not just excelling at the level that you are, you could get to where you are and just kind of live a very nice life for yourself and your kids and your family, right? Yeah. But you seem to have this insatiable desire and appetite to help other people. Why? What's this all about?
Well, before this episode starts, I'd like to ask a big favor. Your subscription means a lot to us, because the bigger this platform gets, the bigger the guests get. So do me a favor, please click on the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. Now let's get back to this episode.
Well, again, why I speak so direct about helping other people, because I know what it's like to go without. I know what it feels like to not have any help, and not knowing where to turn can be a very difficult place, right? Just to understand about, how do I apply for a job? How do I have a CV that stands out? But more importantly, there's things happening in my personal life and it's affecting my life at work. Can I have a conversation, right? Those are experiences that I've lived and not had anybody to turn to. So that, combined with a mother that was always helping people, what do I need to do now? I need to combine the two. So I've been brought up in a way to be kind and think about other people, and also experience things where I've gone through things where I've not had somebody to turn to. So now I'm in a position where I can help other people, why on earth wouldn't I do that? Right? Obviously, people have their own struggles, their own things are going in their life. So if I can help somebody in that moment where things are going all right for me, why not? And I think that's where my desire comes from for wanting to help other people. Because knowing what it's like to go without and not having somebody to turn to is not a place that I would wish on my worst enemy. Right?
Okay.
Just being
So tell us about the Bold Network.
So the Bold Network, as you know, that's something that just is like, it's helped me, right?
What does it stand for, first of all?
So the Bold Network stands for Black Organization for Leadership and Development, right? And it's what we call an ERG, which is a employee resource group. So within organizations, they have specific networks in organizations to help support. Might be a particular demographic, or linked from, women, gender, family, LGBTQ+, all those different things, right? But the Bold Network is set up and designed to help Black colleagues within my organization. I co-chair that with a wonderful lady, and our purpose is to provide a space where Black people can be seen, heard, appreciated, and given a voice. And one of the things that we want to do is to empower, right? A lot of the times, Black colleagues or colleagues from minority ethnic backgrounds can feel unheard. They're working so hard, but not being acknowledged or recognized for the brilliance that they do, right? And the Bold Network is all about amplifying those wonderful individuals to say, hey, here is somebody that has delivered so much. We need to recognize them and not just give them a round of applause, but put them in a position where they can apply for senior positions.
Right.
And that's my key, is getting people from A to B, whether it be on a development journey or on a career journey, to say you started off here in the call center, i.e. me, and now you're a director in your own space. So that way the influence that you can now have is get someone else from that place into the place where you are. And that's what the Bold Network is all about.
I also know that the Bold Network, even though it's specific to your current organization, you've got other places where you now is sort of leveraging your influence that you've built and what people recognize you for. So can you just tell our viewers a little bit about the impacts of that in other organizations as well?
It's like you found something in treasure. Why do you want to keep it to yourself? Right? So when different organizations, cross-sector, not just finance, come and say, we have something or we have a demographic and we want to be able to set up what you have set up. So we would cross-sector collaborate to say, we will come and do a event with you to really share the story of how it has helped many of the Black colleagues within my organization. They will come and they will share testimonies, they will talk and say, through this network, I was able to step into a space where there were other people who I thought I was alone. So now I'm standing with another person working in another sector of the organization, going through the same thing as me, and the difference is we've now combined, right? And the Bold Network has provided us with the support, the information, the resources to say, this is how you can get from A to B. Here's somebody that's done it already, so we can partner you up. We can put you on mentoring programs. We can find somebody that can sponsor you. And that's what we want to do. So when you have something that has been established and is growing and is bearing fruit, let's move it over here. So I'm open to have conversations with different people who are looking to set something up similar. Who might say, Mahari, we're trying to do something, we've not really got the support of our leadership team. At one stage, Bold was in its infancy. It wasn't having the impact that it was having today. How did we do that? Here we go. Here's the framework that we set up. So we're willing to have those conversations to help everybody out there who wants to set something up that's similar, just to support people in their own organizations or companies.
That's truly amazing. Now, in the last episode, you spoke about the fact that you didn't really have anyone to go to, as a sounding board, as you kind of navigated your career from the call center, through various parts of the bank, to where you are now in CIB. So my question is, how did you fill in those gaps? Were there mentors, maybe? Did people spot your ability? Were there people who might have put in a word for you, like people might have sponsored you along the way.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking this is that I mean, you've kind of given us a very simplistic, but I know that there's a lot more to the journey, and that's what I'm trying to get out.
Yeah,
there's a lot more.
There is a lot more happening on the journey, and I think when you start out on your career, and me, early 20s, not ever been in the corporate space. I was always in the design space, which was always kind of more relaxed because you're being creative, you're doing your thing, but now there's structure. You stepped into a corporate environment and now they've got structure, they've got deliverables. We need this at this day. People can phone you at a particular time. We need this report done, right? There's more, it's more intense, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, I don't know what to do. I can only be good at what they've asked me to do. But it's more than that. How do you go the extra mile? And I think my ability to deliver helped you to build trust. My ability to be personable, being able to ask questions, being able to really challenge, right? Or we have a saying called radical candor, right? That's me speaking with honesty, but still having the empathy to understand that I'm not being rude. I'm just trying to understand, but be direct, right? So I've used those skill sets to really have those conversations, and there were some fantastic individuals along the way. Not so much in the beginning stages, but now as I've begun to understand my worth and how I can add value, there are those line managers who spot and see that talent, and they weren't black, right? But these who are leaders are considered to be leaders. They've realized and said, oh my goodness, there's an exceptional talent in my team. I'm going to help them, right? So who knows? They may have been speaking on my behalf in particular rooms, and definitely people have come back and said, this is a great opportunity for you. I'd like to kind of do that. And there are some key individuals on my career journey who have done that for me. And, big them up all the time because they've helped me on that journey, because there's no way you can do it by yourself, right? People that are screaming, I did this, I did that, at those times, there were some key individuals that you might not know have been working in your favor. And that's what we call invisible PR. Who is speaking for you when you're not in the room? And I believe have had those types of people along my career journey, whether they've revealed themselves or not. Those people have seen how I can add value. They may have worked with me before. So now when they come across opportunities, they can say, I know the perfect person for that job. And a couple of my jobs have come not through applications or jobs. It's more, I've heard you're looking for somebody. I know this fantastic person that helped me to deliver on this. I think he would be great in this role.
Right.
So it all stems back to what I'm saying. Be good at your day job. Be great at what you're working on. So when people ask the tough questions, you provide the easy answers.
Oh, that's amazing. That's truly amazing. Now, I also happen to know that you've almost perfected the art of using LinkedIn.
Perfected, I like that.
Yeah, no, I've been watching you. I don't say much, but I'm watching you. I've been watching you.
Okay.
And you've used LinkedIn as a tool or platform to spread your influence and to show people that it's possible.
Yes.
Because I see your posts, I see what you're doing, I see how you're doing it, and I see why you're doing it, and I see the impact, and I'm just wondering if you can just share with people, with our viewers, the importance of amplifying your brand, as a means of spreading your influence.
Absolutely. So when I think of platforms like LinkedIn, it was a young guy trying to share his story to the world, but to have impact in a space that are not really your more social platforms like your Facebooks and different things. I wanted to have impact. For me, in my young mind at the time, was how do I create impact in the corporate space without even understanding it? So I took to LinkedIn in order to storytell and share my story. And, I've developed a really powerful and impactful personal brand because it's built on 3 principles. So those 3 principles are engage. It sits on 3 E's, and the first E is engage. How do you come across as engaging to the people who are trying to connect with you? The second part of that is, now that you have somebody engaged with the story that you're trying to tell, how do you excite them, right? So now I have you engaged. Does my content excite you enough to want to know more or want to do something about it? And then the final E is execute. So you always need to have a call to action. I've got you engaged. Now you're excited to work with me or find out more. Now the execution phase is, how can I help you to deliver on what I've excited you about? Or how can you help me to deliver on what I've excited you about? Those are the 3 principles, and that's the story that I try to tell through my LinkedIn posts. So it's not just, this has happened, here you go. Is it engaging enough for you to maybe leave a comment or want to find out more, right? It's excited me so much that I want to find out how I can join in and do something or collaborate and work together. So always remember, be engaging, right? Excite them through that engagement. And thirdly, help them execute, or allow them to help you execute on something. And that's how I've used LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So when those that follow me, I'm sure you'll probably share it in the description.
I will do, yeah.
That's what I want to do. So when I speak and I talk about personal branding, I talk about LinkedIn, it's based on those 3 pillars. And now I've kind of launched a dedicated Instagram profile that's all linked to personal branding, public speaking, motivation, coaching, to help other people become better. Because it worked for me, and I'm not saying it will work for you, but having gems and nuggets of wisdom to kind of really make some tweaks to some things that you might be doing could make all the world a difference.
You've done a lot of public speaking as well.
Yeah.
Spoken in some interesting places. Tell us a bit about that journey and how you ventured into that space.
So yeah, so when
I'm taking
it's good.
Every angle, right?
It's good. So my missus says, your mouth is too sweet. She didn't stand a chance. Oh, I love her so much. She didn't stand a chance. But I think it was, for me, it was, I like to, whenever I present, I have this vision board and I tell people, I want you all to connect with me as an individual before I begin to talk about the topic that I'm sharing on that day. Yeah. Because without you connecting with me from a hearts and mind perspective, what I'm giving you is just data and information. Yeah. Let us connect first. So when we talk, it's like, oh, I like that guy. Yeah. I like that guy. Right? So the whole thing about public speaking, for me, is about knowing your audience, right? Understanding who you're speaking to know that not every person in the audience is going to receive the subject matter in the same way. So I would always think about the audience or wherever I'm going and being able to speak. And one of the most interesting places I ever spoke at was Eton College.
I know, I was going to ask you about that.
So Eton College, as we know, and people can Google and do their research, this is a highly sought after educational institute that has created 20 plus prime ministers that have gone through their educational system. And then you've got a guy from Jamaica going to speak to these potentially future prime ministers, world leaders, whatever it may be, right? But it was because the person that brought me in understood that when you speak, right? When I speak, people want to listen, right? Because there's an authenticity behind the words that I'm saying. I'm not trying to sell you something because it's all through lived experiences. Yeah. So anything that I say or anything that I talk about, it's not, I've Googled this and I want to download it to you. It's like, this is Mahari, this is who I am, this is how it's worked for me, and I'm hoping what you hear today could motivate you to think differently or try something new. Okay. And that's how I got into more public speaking, where people are like, wow, right? This isn't a topic that he's gone away and researched and learned. Yeah. My keynotes are based on lived experiences, which just so happens to be relevant. And that's the powerful thing. So when I talk and people are listening, it's like, my goodness, this is somebody that's living and has experienced this, and now he's telling me how he navigated through that.
Your authenticity is very, very key to storytelling.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, when you can be your true, authentic self through the power of your words, through the power of how you speak with purpose, people tap into that and want to know more. See that? Engage, excite, execute. Jeez, don't touch me. Yeah. You get that one for free.
You know, when I heard you speak of the UK Black Business Week, you ended with that. That was so cool. The 3 E's.
Those are 3 E's. So nobody don't take those 3 E's. They're trademarked, by the way.
Anyway, we're almost done. I'm going to ask you about networking.
Oh yeah,
because I know I kind of asked you everything today. So.
This is good. I love the talk, like
You know, so I know you're very intentional about your network.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's something that you go to great lengths, you know, to build and to nurture. You know, can you just maybe tell us a bit about that, about the importance of networking as you sort of have experience in career progression?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, being able to be in spaces where other people could be sitting on opportunities that you've been waiting on, that's the power of networking, right? Being able to ask questions, being able to have people advocate on your behalf, that's the power of networking. How could you and I have met without the power of networking? Through us being somewhere together, having a conversation, or the network that I build via LinkedIn, the content that I put out created this outcome, right?
That's true.
So from the first interaction on LinkedIn, we've now attended events together where we've had a further conversation.
Yeah.
Through that conversation, we're now having a podcast together.
An intimate conversation.
And then from this podcast, it's going to go out to somebody else.
Yeah.
That's the power of networking.
Wow.
Right? And again, not everybody is an extrovert. Not everybody can turn up to somewhere and say, oh, hey, my name is X. What do you do? Right? But through practice comes perfect. Your networking isn't because you're an extrovert and you're going out to a place to say, this is what I do. Right? Your networking is all about going to experience something, and you might be able to have a conversation with somebody because you were in the right place at the right time.
You know, I remember that one of the things I picked up from our initial interactions, you know, is when I saw your authenticity, I just took a decision, you know, to promote you as much as I can. You know,
I love it.
If you notice,
I love it.
I mean, I love the stuff you post, and anything you post, I repost.
You do.
Constantly.
Thank you.
Constantly, because I believe that the whole world has to hear about Mahari Hay. I mean, honestly, guys.
This is going to do millions of views. This is where it started.
Honestly, I mean, like I said, I've met a lot of people, and for me, at least to me, you're truly special. I'm not saying this because we're on camera or anything, but I really value this journey that we've been on so far, and I just love your energy. You know, I just love your commitment and just drive to help people. And it's not about you; it's about people, it's about others. And for me, I find that really, really powerful.
Yeah.
You know.
Thank you so much. And when I think about it, right, and people always ask me the question, why are you so positive? How comes you always feel like you've got some great energy? And I tell you why, right? How can I lose when I know that I've already won? So my energy isn't sucked away because in the end, I know I'm going to win, right? I stand firm on the beliefs that, you know, and, you know, I believe in God, I'm a Christian, and again, you know, not to get spiritual, but I owe my blessings to God because I've been through times where I couldn't see a way out, but now I'm flourishing, right? And that's because I know that I'm going to win in the end. So I won't stress over stuff that I can't control.
You won't sweat the small stuff.
Don't sweat the small stuff. And that's all I do.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question that you're not expecting.
Okay, right.
Okay, are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So, I've never not seen you not smiling. I've never seen you with a squeezed face or angry face. And I know you're authentic, right? So I'm just thinking, does this guy ever get upset? I mean, I've never seen you without a smile on your face.
I will link that back to, I've found my worth and my peace through family, through being content, right? I'm not living for the next high. Okay. I'm living in the moment because I know life can just be taken away from you just like that, right? So again, don't sweat the small stuff. But again, I'm not preaching to anybody. I'm just sharing what works for me. So when I smile, is because I genuinely feel that I'm okay, right? And if there are things out of my power that I can't control, why am I stressing about it? Don't stress about it. That's why I look so young, you know?
Anyway, as we wrap up this conversation, what do you think about this podcast and what we're trying to do?
Listen, I think you used the word authentic. You allowed me to come here and be myself. And that's what I love about this podcast. The atmosphere when I arrived just felt really relaxed. And I thought to myself, I can have a real open and honest conversation. Because when you try to bring your authenticity into an environment where you feel, I'm not really sure what's happening, this has allowed me to really be myself. I just want to take off my shoes and have a shower. Because I feel like I'm at home. And I think
you can even stay if you want.
I genuinely feel I'm at home. And I think how you get the most out of your guests or future panelists or whatever you call them on the podcast, I think, is you allow them to feel relaxed.
Yeah.
So when they speak, your viewers can feel the authenticity through their words. And that's how I felt today.
That's truly touching.
Yeah, man, big up this podcast.
Yeah.
Big up. Tune in, regular.
Yeah. Anyway, we also have a tradition on this podcast where we give our guests the opportunity to say or to dedicate this episode to anyone or any group of people of their choice. So who would you like to dedicate this podcast to? You're welcome to look into the camera.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, thank you for doing this. So you'd heard me probably speak at great lengths about my mother. She set the tone for the man that you're listening to today. So, God rest her soul. Thank you for her investment, her time, her love that she's put into me. Everything I do is for her because she's taught me a way. And every person that I get to influence and inspire is through the teaching that she's given me. And, my daughters, they're the world for me. So what my mother instilled in me, I'm now passing down onto them. So when they grow into the fantastic women that they will be flourishing and want to help other people. And last but certainly not least, my wonderful, amazing Mrs. Nikki, big up yourself. You said, my mouth's too sweet, but that's how I got you. Without this sweet mouth, you wouldn't be here. But they say, right, Daniel, there's a saying, behind every great man is a great woman.
Yeah.
She's not just behind me, she's at the side of me, she's in the front of me, she's my eyes away from my eyes.
Yeah.
So I'd like to dedicate this podcast to those fantastic women in my life. My mothers, my daughters, Karis and Kyra, and Nikki.
That's truly amazing. Mahari, I'm sad that this conversation has to end.
The podcast will end, but this will never end.
This will never end.
Come on.
This will never end.
Come on.
If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd like you to leave some comments. I'd like to just share. We've got to share this episode. And both episodes, actually. Just keep sharing, because this gentleman here has a story. And, if you're not inspired by it, then I'll be very surprised. Because the journey that he's been on, is the very ethos of what this podcast is about. This podcast is called Against All Odds. I mean, who goes from a call center, which black person, Jamaican or non-UK born black person, goes from a call center to a city boardroom? It doesn't happen easily. But what you're seeing here today is a living embodiment of this journey. If Mahari has done it, you can do it. And that's why we're doing this. And I'd like you to support us, become a subscriber. If there's anyone that you want to feature on this podcast, leave in the comment section below and we'll do our best to bring them on this podcast, because the bigger our subscriber base is, the more consistent, the quality of guests that we're going to be able to bring to you. And I also like to say a very big thank you to our sponsors, Consulting Professionals Limited and Alexander Ash Consulting. And thank you very much for making this episode possible. And
Thank you so much.
On that note, we'll bring this episode to a close and see you next week. Thank you, Mahari. We did this.
We did that. We did that. Was that good?
Ah, that was brilliant.